ladies and gentlemen, in our fast-paced world, where everything seems to move at lightning speed, we often forget the importance of silence. We get caught up in the constant hustle, trying to achieve, trying to do more, trying to prove ourselves. But what if I told you that the most powerful thing you can do is to stop and be silent? Silence is not just the absence of noise. It's a state of being where you can truly connect with yourself and the universe. When you are silent, you give space for things to unfold naturally. It's in the moments of quiet that we find clarity, that we discover our true desires, and that we align ourselves with what's meant for us. Silence is a tool that many overlook in today's busy world. It's often misunderstood, viewed as something negative or empty. But silence, in its purest form, is a space of immense power. When we talk about silence, we are not just referring to the absence of sound. We are talking about a state of stillness within ourselves. This stillness is a profound connection with our inner being and with the world around us. It is a way of tuning into the rhythm of life that goes beyond the surface noise of daily existence. We live in a world where noise and constant movement are seen as symbols of success and productivity. The louder we are, the more we do, the more we seem to be achieving. We fill every moment with activity, believing that every minute must be accounted for and that we must constantly be working towards something. Yet, in all this noise, we often lose ourselves. We become disconnected from our true purpose, overwhelmed by the demands of others and the constant pressure to perform. This is where silence becomes essential. In silence, we stop trying to force things. We stop pushing ourselves and others to meet external expectations. Instead, we turn inward, giving ourselves permission to pause, to be present. This is not about abandoning our goals or responsibilities. It is about finding a balance. It's about creating space for clarity to enter our lives. When we embrace silence, we are not running away from the world. Rather, we are taking a step back so that we can reconnect with ourselves. In this silence, we can hear our own thoughts without the interference of outside noise. The world has a rhythm, a flow that is always moving, even if we cannot always see it. When we align ourselves with this rhythm, we find that things begin to come together naturally. We stop forcing and start allowing. It's a delicate shift in perspective from a mindset of control to one of trust. Instead of constantly pushing against life, we begin to flow with it. And in this flow, things don't happen because we demanded them to. They happen because we allowed them to. Silence teaches us patience. It's in the stillness that we realize that not everything needs to be done immediately. In our fast-paced lives, we often feel that we must act now or risk losing an opportunity. But silence reveals a different truth, that sometimes the best actions are those that are taken in their own time. Rushing through life leads to mistakes, missteps, and missed opportunities. But when we allow ourselves the space to reflect, to think deeply, and to wait, we find that our decisions are more thoughtful, more aligned with our true desires. When we are silent, we allow space for the universe to work. We stop trying to control every aspect of our lives and allow life to unfold. The truth is, many of the things we chase after come to us naturally when we stop fighting for them. We often spend so much energy chasing success, love, and validation, but in the pursuit, we miss the opportunity to let these things come to us effortlessly. Silence gives us the space to attract what is meant for us. The beauty of silence lies in its ability to help us understand what truly matters. We can easily get caught up in what society tells us is important. We get distracted by what others are doing, thinking that we need to follow their path to be successful or happy. But silence allows us to hear our own voice. It brings us back to the core of who we are. When we listen deeply, we realize that everything we need is already inside us. Silence doesn't just teach us to listen to the world, it teaches us to listen to ourselves. In the quiet moments, we can reflect on what truly matters to us. The constant rush to get things done often leaves us disconnected from our passions, our dreams, and our inner truth. Silence gives us the opportunity to reconnect with those things. It clears the clutter, allowing us to see clearly and act with intention. It's in the quiet that we find the strength to move forward, not out of obligation, but out of genuine desire. This is why silence is not something to be feared. It is a powerful tool for growth, healing, and self-discovery. When we make room for silence, we make room for everything else to fall into place. We create the space for our true purpose to emerge, for the things that belong in our lives to come to us. And when that happens, we realize that everything we've been waiting for was always there, just waiting for us to stop and listen. Silence is not merely the absence of noise. It is the space where everything begins to align itself. In a world constantly buzzing with activity, we often forget that the most important things in life do not come from force, but from allowing things to happen naturally. Silence gives us the space to step back and simply observe. It allows us to witness the unfolding of life without rushing in to control every detail. When we are silent, we create a powerful void where possibilities can emerge, where new ideas can take shape, and where the world around us can unfold in its natural rhythm. Most of us are conditioned to believe that we must always be doing something. We must be constantly moving, constantly working, constantly proving our worth. But in this constant hustle, we lose the ability to truly see what's happening around us. Our vision becomes clouded by the noise of our daily lives. The constant distractions prevent us from noticing the subtle shifts, the small signs, and the quiet moments that are often the most important. Silence, however, offers us the gift of stillness. It's in the stillness that we find clarity. We begin to understand the bigger picture, not because we are trying to control it, but because we have allowed ourselves to see it without interference. In silence, we let go of the need to push and strive for everything we want. We stop trying to bend the universe to our will. Instead, we trust that the right things will come to us in their own time. This is not to say that we should stop taking action, or that we should sit passively waiting for things to happen. Rather, it means that we stop fighting the flow of life. We stop trying to force outcomes, and instead, we allow ourselves to be open to what the universe has in store for us. This act of surrender, this act of letting go, is where the magic happens. The universe, or whatever you believe in, works in its own way and in its own time. It has a rhythm that is different from ours, and when we stop forcing our own rhythm onto it, we can experience the natural unfolding of life's blessings. The idea of letting go can be challenging, especially for those of us who are used to being in control. We often feel that we need to take charge of every aspect of our lives, that if we don't do something, nothing will happen. But silence teaches us that there is strength in letting go. It teaches us that we don't need to control everything in order to achieve our desires. In fact, by letting go, we create space for things to come to us naturally. When we stop forcing things into our lives, we allow them to enter on their own terms, which often turns out to be more aligned with our true desires than anything we could have planned ourselves. There is something profoundly freeing about this idea. When we stop rushing to meet deadlines, to fulfill expectations, to meet other people's demands, we create space for what truly matters. We stop filling our lives with meaningless noise and distractions, and instead allow ourselves to focus on the things that truly bring us joy, peace, and fulfillment. Silence offers us the opportunity to reflect on what is truly important. It gives us the time and the space to understand our true desires, our goals, and our purpose. When we are constantly moving, we don't have the luxury of reflection. But in silence, we can truly understand ourselves, and when we understand ourselves, we can make choices that are in alignment with who we truly are. Silence helps us find the courage to trust the timing of our lives. We are often anxious about the future, wondering when things will fall into place, when success will come, when we will achieve our goals. Silence teaches us that everything has its own timing, and that when we stop pushing and rushing, everything will unfold as it is meant to. It's in the quiet moments of life that we are able to find the patience we need to trust the process. We realize that life is not a race. It's a journey, and sometimes the best things come to us when we stop trying so hard to chase them. When we embrace silence, we embrace the natural flow of life. We allow the world to move around us, and we move with it rather than against it. In this flow, we discover that things don't need to be forced. They come naturally when the time is right. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. We are constantly surrounded by noise, whether it's the chatter of social media, the constant barrage of notifications, or the pressure to keep up with others. This constant noise can overwhelm us and prevent us from truly focusing on what matters most. It creates a sense of urgency, as though we must always be doing something, achieving something, moving forward at all times. But in the midst of all this, silence offers us a powerful reset. It allows us to step back, to breathe, and to rediscover what truly matters. Silence is not just about the absence of sound. It is about the absence of distractions. It's about removing the things that keep us from being present in the moment. In silence, we create the space to reconnect with ourselves. We can't do this when we are constantly distracted by external forces. It's in these quiet moments that we can reflect on our lives, our choices, and our goals. We can ask ourselves the important questions that often get drowned out by the noise. What do we really want? What are we passionate about? What do we need to let go of in order to move forward? These are the questions that silence helps us to hear. When we embrace silence, we start to tune out the noise and start to listen more intently to our own inner voice. We become more aware of what is happening inside us, rather than being constantly pulled in different directions by the demands of the outside world. It is in these moments of stillness that we find our clarity. We can hear our instincts, our true desires, and our authentic needs. It's almost as if the noise fades away and we can see the path forward more clearly. Without the distractions of daily life, we can see what is truly important to us, and we can make decisions that align with our core values. One of the most profound benefits of silence is its ability to help us reset our priorities. In a world that often values productivity above all else, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. We get caught up in the rush, constantly moving from one task to the next, without taking the time to consider whether what we are doing is truly fulfilling. Silence gives us the time and space to reflect on our lives, to evaluate what is working and what isn't, and to recalibrate our goals. It allows us to step back and look at the bigger picture. When we are silent, we can think deeply about our true purpose, our passions, and our long-term vision. It's in these moments of quiet that we often find the answers we have been searching for. Furthermore, silence helps us to regain our peace of mind. We live in a world where stress is rampant. The pressure to constantly perform, to meet deadlines, to keep up with the ever-changing demands of life can leave us feeling mentally and emotionally drained. Silence offers us a reprieve from this constant stress. It allows us to calm our minds and restore our sense of balance. In silence, we can release the tension that builds up in our bodies and our minds. We can let go of the worries, the doubts, and the anxieties that weigh us down. And when we do this, we find that we are better able to face the challenges that lie ahead with a clearer mind and a renewed sense of energy. In a world where everything seems to demand our attention, silence also helps us to create healthy boundaries. We are often pulled in many different directions, whether it's by the needs of others, our work, or our own inner desires. Silence helps us to recognize when we need to step back and say no. It gives us the strength to prioritize our own well-being and to protect our time and energy. When we are silent, we can hear our own needs more clearly. We can discern when it is time to rest, when it is time to focus, and when it is time to take action. Silence allows us to become more intentional in our choices, to make decisions that are aligned with our true selves, rather than being driven by external pressures. The beauty of silence lies in its ability to bring us back to the present moment. In a world that constantly pulls us into the future or the past, silence grounds us in the here and now. It helps us to appreciate the simple things, to find joy in the present, and to be fully engaged in the moment. It's easy to get caught up in our worries about the future or our regrets about the past, but silence reminds us that the only moment we truly have is this one. It helps us to embrace life as it is, without the need for constant striving or the pressure to constantly be doing more. Silence is a powerful tool for recentering ourselves and reconnecting with what truly matters. It allows us to step away from the noise of the world and find peace, clarity, and purpose. In silence, we rediscover our true selves, and we allow life to unfold naturally in its own time. By embracing silence, we give ourselves the space to grow, to heal, and to live a more intentional, peaceful life. In a world that thrives on instant gratification, we often forget the importance of letting things unfold naturally. We are constantly told to hustle, to make things happen, to be proactive in our pursuits. But in our drive to achieve, we sometimes overlook the beauty and power of patience. Silence teaches us that not everything needs to be forced. Some things simply need time. When we step back, relax, and let things happen in their own time, we open ourselves to the natural flow of life, and this can lead to outcomes we never could have planned for or expected. For most of us, the temptation to control every aspect of our lives is overwhelming. We feel as though if we don't take charge of every moment, we might miss out on opportunities or let life slip by. This sense of urgency can lead to stress, anxiety, and frustration. However, silence shows us that there is a different approach to life. It encourages us to take a breath, to pause, and to trust that the right things will come at the right time. We often fight against life's natural rhythm because we are too focused on our own agendas. But when we allow things to unfold naturally, we find that they often come to us with greater ease and alignment. The more we try to force outcomes, the more resistant life becomes. But when we step back, things seem to happen effortlessly, almost as if the universe is working in harmony with our desires. One of the key lessons of silence is the realization that not everything is in our control. This can be a difficult pill to swallow, especially for those of us who are used to being in control of our lives. We want things to happen quickly, we want answers now, and we want success on our terms. But silence teaches us that there is wisdom in patience. It reminds us that life's journey is not a race, and that rushing to get to the end can often lead to burnout and disappointment. When we allow ourselves to rest in the present moment, we give space for things to come to us without the constant pressure to make them happen. In this space, we can embrace the ebb and flow of life, knowing that everything has its season. The right relationships, opportunities, and experiences will come to us when the time is right, and when we stop forcing them, we will see that they arrive with more ease and fulfillment. The concept of patience is closely tied to the practice of silence. Patience is not simply about waiting for something to happen. It's about having the trust and the faith that things will unfold as they should. Silence creates the space where we can nurture this patience. It gives us the room to pause, to reflect, and to observe how things are progressing without the need to rush them. When we take a step back, we allow ourselves to see the bigger picture. We stop focusing on the small details that cause us stress and start to appreciate the beauty of the journey. Patience, cultivated through silence, allows us to remain calm and centered, even when life doesn't go as planned. It reminds us that delays, setbacks, and obstacles are often part of the process, and that these moments can lead to growth and unexpected blessings. In the silence, we also learn to trust the timing of our lives. It's easy to get frustrated when things aren't happening as quickly as we would like, or when our plans don't unfold in the way we imagined. But silence teaches us to trust that everything is happening in its own time. It reminds us that the universe has a rhythm, and when we align ourselves with it, we allow things to come into our lives at the perfect moment. We don't need to rush or force things to happen. When we surrender to life's timing, we find that the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences all come to us when we are ready for them. We don't need to chase after them. They will appear naturally when the time is right. Patience also teaches us that the journey is just as important as the destination. We often become so fixated on our goals and outcomes that we forget to appreciate the process. Silence helps us to slow down and savor each moment. It allows us to enjoy the steps we are taking, rather than constantly looking ahead to the next thing. In this way, silence helps us to be present, to enjoy the present moment, and to trust that the future will unfold exactly as it is meant to. When we stop rushing, we begin to notice the beauty in the small things, the quiet moments that make up the fabric of our lives. These moments are often more valuable than any achievement or goal we could pursue. So, as we embrace silence, we also embrace patience. We let go of the need to control everything and trust that life will unfold in its own time. We create the space for things to come to us naturally, and in doing so, we find that we are able to achieve our goals with greater ease and fulfillment. Silence helps us to quiet the noise, to trust the process, and to allow life to flow in its own rhythm. And in this space of peace and trust, we discover that everything we need will come to us exactly when we need it. When we talk about finding clarity, we often imagine that it comes from doing more, from seeking out information, from being busy and constantly engaged in the world around us. But clarity does not come from endless noise and chaos. It comes from quiet moments, from silence, where we can tune out the distractions and listen to what our heart and mind are telling us. Silence provides a unique opportunity to remove the clutter and allow our thoughts to settle, making it easier to hear what's truly important. In the quiet, we are able to reflect deeply, gaining insights that would otherwise be drowned out by the noise of daily life. In our fast-paced society, we are conditioned to think that we need to be constantly doing something to be productive or successful. The constant hustle, the pressure to always be moving forward, often leaves us feeling overwhelmed and unclear about our true desires. We are bombarded with so much information, so many choices, that it's hard to know where to focus our energy. We chase after every new idea, every opportunity, thinking that more is better, but in doing so, we scatter our focus and lose sight of what truly matters. Silence, however, helps us slow down. It provides the space for us to pause, breathe, and reflect. It gives us the chance to regain clarity by focusing on what is essential. When we embrace silence, we give ourselves permission to stop and listen to our inner voice. This inner voice is often drowned out by the noise of our thoughts, the demands of others, and the distractions around us. But in the stillness, we can hear it more clearly. Our inner voice is the guide that helps us navigate through life. It tells us what feels right and what doesn't, what is aligned with our true values and what is not. When we take the time to listen, we are able to make decisions with greater confidence, because we are not reacting to the noise around us, but rather responding from a place of clarity and purpose. The power of silence lies in its ability to bring us back to the present moment. We often live in a state of constant anticipation, always thinking about what's next. We dwell on the past or worry about the future, forgetting to be present in the here and now. Silence anchors us in the present moment. It allows us to let go of the worries about what's to come and the regrets of what has already passed. In the quiet, we can focus on the present, on what is right in front of us. This is where true clarity is found in the present moment, where we can see things as they are, without the distortion of past experiences or future expectations. One of the key aspects of clarity is the ability to see the bigger picture. In our busy lives, we often get caught up in the small details, the immediate tasks at hand, and the day-to-day challenges. These can cloud our vision and prevent us from seeing the larger purpose behind what we're doing. Silence helps us step back from these details and look at the bigger picture. When we are quiet, we can gain perspective. We are able to see how all the pieces of our life fit together and what direction we need to take next. It's in these moments of stillness that we often receive the insight we need to move forward with confidence and purpose. Clarity also comes when we are able to eliminate the distractions that keep us from focusing on what really matters. Distractions come in many forms: external distractions like noise and people, as well as internal distractions like our own fears, doubts, and insecurities. When we embrace silence, we create a space where we can silence both the external and internal noise. In this quiet space, we can think more clearly and make decisions from a place of peace. We can tune into what is truly important without being swayed by the distractions that often pull us in different directions. Silence also allows us to let go of the pressure to constantly be achieving, constantly be moving forward. In today's world, there is an overwhelming pressure to always be doing something, always striving for more. We are told that success comes from constant action, from pushing ourselves harder and faster, but silence teaches us that we don't need to rush. We don't need to force things to happen. Clarity comes when we stop chasing and start being. When we allow ourselves to simply be still and trust the process, we discover that clarity finds us. We don't need to go looking for it. It emerges naturally when we give ourselves the space to receive it. In moments of silence, we also find peace. This peace allows us to move through life with a sense of calm and assurance. When we are at peace with ourselves and with the present moment, we can face challenges with clarity. We are no longer bogged down by confusion or indecision, but instead, we approach life with a clear sense of direction and purpose. Silence gives us the clarity to see things as they are, to make choices that align with our true selves, and to navigate life's complexities with confidence. Silence provides us with an opportunity to truly connect with ourselves. In a world that is constantly demanding our attention, it is easy to lose sight of who we are and what we truly need. We are constantly surrounded by noise from the media, from social expectations, from our own minds filled with worries and doubts. All this noise creates a sense of chaos, making it difficult to hear our own voice, to understand what is truly important to us. Silence, however, offers us the chance to quiet the outside world and tune in to our own thoughts and feelings. In these moments of stillness, we can reconnect with our inner selves, gaining clarity about what we want, what we need, and where we are headed. When we embrace silence, we give ourselves the chance to reflect on our lives. Life moves at such a fast pace that we often forget to stop and take stock of where we are and where we are going. We get caught up in the day-to-day grind, focusing on the immediate tasks and challenges in front of us, without taking the time to step back and think about the bigger picture. Silence provides a break from this constant busyness. It allows us to pause and reflect, to look at our lives from a different perspective. In these moments of reflection, we can evaluate our choices, our values, and our goals, and we can decide whether we are truly aligned with what we want in life. Silence also creates the space for us to process our emotions. In our busy lives, we often suppress our emotions because we feel we don't have time to deal with them. We push them down, telling ourselves that we will deal with them later, but later never comes. These unprocessed emotions can build up, leading to stress, anxiety, and even physical illness. Silence provides us with a safe space to feel and process our emotions. When we are silent, we can acknowledge our feelings without judgment. We can allow ourselves to feel sad, angry, or frustrated without the need to immediately fix or change those emotions. In silence, we can simply sit with our emotions and allow them to pass, knowing that by giving them space, we are healing and moving forward. By embracing silence, we also learn to trust our intuition. Our intuition is often drowned out by the noise of our everyday lives. We are constantly bombarded by external influences, by what others think, by what society tells us we should do. This external noise can make it difficult to hear the quiet whispers of our inner wisdom. But when we are silent, we can better hear our intuition. Silence allows us to tap into the deeper part of ourselves, the part that knows what is right for us, the part that is connected to our true desires. In these moments of stillness, we can trust ourselves more, knowing that we have the answers within us. Silence also teaches us the power of patience. In a world that often values speed and instant results, silence reminds us that good things take time. It's easy to get impatient when things don't happen as quickly as we want them to, but silence encourages us to slow down and trust the process. In silence, we learn that not everything needs to happen immediately. Sometimes the best things in life take time to unfold, and when we give them that time, we allow them to grow and develop naturally. Silence gives us the space to be patient, to trust that things will come to us in their own time. When we embrace silence, we also find peace. In our chaotic world, peace can feel like an elusive goal. We are constantly rushing from one thing to the next, never taking the time to simply be still. Silence offers us the gift of peace. It provides us with the space to breathe, to relax, and to let go of the tension and stress that we carry. In silence, we can find calmness in our minds and our hearts. This peace allows us to move through life with greater ease. We are not as easily rattled by challenges because we have learned to remain calm and centered in the face of adversity. The beauty of silence lies in its simplicity. In a world that often values busyness and productivity, silence offers us something different, a chance to slow down, to reconnect with ourselves, and to find peace in the present moment. It teaches us that we do not need to constantly be doing something in order to feel fulfilled. By embracing silence, we learn to be content with simply being. It is in these moments of stillness that we find our true selves, our true desires, and our true purpose. And when we allow ourselves to be still, we open the door for everything else in life to come to us naturally, without force or struggle. Silence is often seen as a luxury in our modern lives, something we don't have time for, something we avoid because it feels uncomfortable. Yet, in reality, silence is a gift that has the power to bring us peace, clarity, and understanding. In a world where we are constantly overwhelmed by the noise of the world around us, silence offers a chance to rest, to reflect, and to recharge. It gives us the space to disconnect from the chaos and to reconnect with ourselves. This process of disengagement from external distractions allows us to focus on what truly matters and what we want to achieve. One of the main reasons silence is so powerful is because it gives us the space to let go of the pressure we often feel to constantly achieve and perform. In our fast-paced society, we are constantly told that success is measured by how much we do, how much we achieve, and how fast we can get things done. We live in a culture of speed, where productivity is often valued more than personal well-being. We can easily become trapped in this cycle, pushing ourselves harder and harder, with the belief that we must always be doing more to reach our goals. But silence teaches us that we don't always have to be doing something to make progress. Sometimes the most productive thing we can do is to simply be still. In silence, we give ourselves permission to rest. We stop pushing ourselves to be constantly on the go and allow ourselves to pause. This pause is essential for recharging our energy and gaining perspective on the things that truly matter. When we are constantly moving, we can become disconnected from our deeper needs. Silence helps us realign ourselves with those needs. It allows us to step back and examine our priorities, to determine what is truly important in our lives. Often, when we take the time to be silent, we realize that some of the things we are working so hard to achieve are not as important as we once thought. This realization gives us the freedom to let go of what no longer serves us and to focus on what truly brings us fulfillment and joy. Moreover, silence helps us let go of the need for validation from others. In a world where we are constantly surrounded by the opinions and judgments of others, silence gives us a reprieve. It allows us to disconnect from the noise of social media, from the constant comparisons we make with others, and from the pressure to conform to societal expectations. In silence, we are free to be ourselves, without the need to seek approval or validation from anyone else. This freedom is empowering because it reminds us that we are enough just as we are. When we stop seeking validation from others, we start living for ourselves. We begin to make choices that are aligned with our values and desires, rather than being influenced by what others think. Silence also gives us the space to listen not just to the world around us, but to our own inner voice. In the busyness of our lives, we often overlook the wisdom that lies within us. We are so focused on the external world, on what others are saying, on what we should be doing, that we forget to listen to our own thoughts and feelings. But when we are silent, we can hear our inner voice more clearly. This inner voice is a powerful guide that helps us navigate our lives. It helps us understand our true desires, our passions, and our purpose. When we listen to this voice, we begin to make decisions that are true to who we are. Silence, in this sense, is not only a tool for reflection, it is a way to access the deeper knowledge within us, to gain insight into what we truly need to feel whole and fulfilled. Another important aspect of silence is that it allows us to connect with the present moment. We live in a world that constantly pulls us in different directions. Our minds are often filled with worries about the future or regrets about the past. These thoughts distract us from the present moment, preventing us from fully experiencing life as it is. Silence brings us back to the now. It reminds us that the present moment is all we truly have. In silence, we can appreciate the beauty of the present, free from the distractions of our thoughts and the noise of the world around us. This mindfulness helps us to feel more grounded and centered, allowing us to enjoy life more deeply. Silence teaches us patience. It reminds us that not everything needs to happen immediately. In a world where we are constantly rushing, silence helps us slow down and trust the process. It teaches us that good things take time and that we do not need to force things to happen. Silence helps us cultivate patience by giving us the space to wait, to trust that the right things will come to us when the time is right. In this way, silence becomes a form of self-care, allowing us to be gentle with ourselves and with the natural flow of life. Silence offers us peace of mind. The constant noise and distractions of daily life can leave us feeling frazzled and overwhelmed. Silence provides a refuge from this chaos, allowing us to find inner calm. In these moments of peace, we can process our emotions, reflect on our thoughts, and reset our minds. Silence gives us the space to clear away the mental clutter, helping us to find clarity and calmness in the midst of life's challenges. By embracing silence, we give ourselves the gift of peace, and with that peace comes the strength to face whatever comes our way. Silence, in its simplest form, offers us a much-needed respite from the chaos of daily life. It is a moment to pause, breathe, and let go of the overwhelming pressure that surrounds us. In a world that often values constant action and movement, silence provides a unique opportunity for reflection, healing, and personal growth. It allows us to step back from the hustle, to quiet our minds, and to reconnect with ourselves in a way that is often lost amidst the noise of our daily routines. We live in a society that constantly tells us to do more, be more, and achieve more. The pressure to succeed, to keep up with others, and to be constantly productive can be suffocating. In this environment, silence may seem counterintuitive. We are taught that success is defined by how much we do and how quickly we do it. However, silence teaches us that there is power in stillness. It allows us to break free from the cycle of constant doing and to focus on being. It reminds us that success is not only about achieving external milestones, but also about cultivating inner peace and clarity. In moments of silence, we give ourselves permission to stop and listen to ourselves, to our thoughts, and to our emotions. This listening is a form of self-care. It allows us to hear what our minds and bodies are trying to tell us, often in ways that words cannot express. When we are constantly moving, we miss out on these subtle messages, but in silence, we can hear them clearly. Whether it is the need for rest, the desire for change, or the yearning for something deeper, silence creates the space for us to understand our true needs and desires. It helps us reconnect with our intuition, guiding us toward the decisions and actions that align with our authentic selves. One of the most important lessons silence teaches us is the importance of slowing down. In a world that moves at an accelerating pace, we often feel the pressure to keep up. We rush through life, constantly moving from one task to the next, rarely taking the time to pause and reflect. Silence forces us to slow down and be present in the moment. It encourages us to let go of the need to constantly be busy and instead embrace the beauty of stillness. This slowing down helps us regain perspective. It allows us to appreciate the small moments, the quiet interactions, and the simple pleasures of life that we often overlook in our rush to get things done. Silence also allows us to cultivate patience. It reminds us that not everything needs to happen immediately. In a world that values speed and instant gratification, silence encourages us to trust the process. It teaches us that some things take time to unfold and that rushing toward a goal can often lead to frustration and burnout. By embracing silence, we learn to trust that everything will come to us in its own time. We let go of the need to force outcomes and instead allow things to unfold naturally. Silence gives us the patience to wait for the right moments, to trust that the universe has a plan for us, and to move forward with ease and grace. When we embrace silence, we also create the space to heal. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and emotional burdens. These experiences can weigh us down, leaving us feeling overwhelmed and disconnected. Silence offers a sanctuary for healing. It allows us to process our emotions, to release the pain and stress that we carry, and to find peace within ourselves. In silence, we can reflect on our experiences without judgment, gaining a deeper understanding of ourselves and our journey. This healing process is not always immediate, but through silence, we can begin to release what no longer serves us and make room for new growth. In the quiet moments, we also gain clarity. The constant noise of life can cloud our judgment and make it difficult to see things clearly. We may feel torn between different options, unsure of what path to take or what decision to make. Silence allows us to step away from the external noise and gain a clearer perspective. It gives us the opportunity to reflect on our choices and to make decisions from a place of calm and insight. When we are silent, we are not influenced by external pressures or distractions. Instead, we can connect with our inner wisdom, allowing us to make choices that are aligned with our true values and goals. Silence helps us embrace the present moment. We often spend so much time thinking about the future or dwelling on the past that we miss the richness of the present. Silence brings us back to the now. It encourages us to be fully present, to experience life as it is, without the need for constant planning, worrying, or striving. In the quiet, we can appreciate the beauty of the present moment and find joy in simply being. Silence helps us break free from the constant cycle of doing and instead embrace the power of being. In this space, we find peace, clarity, and a deeper connection to ourselves and the world around us.